Good morning, Ms. Ngozi. You free to start.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Marlo. Good morning, everybody. My name is Fifi Magosi. I am the acting Senior Vice President and Chief Procurement Officer here at Metro. I bring greetings to you from our General Manager, Mr. Randy Clark. Thank you for attending this session with us today. I look forward to hearing what the session holds for us today. At this time, I want to introduce our Director of Metro Small Business Program, Ms. Michelle Howard. She has an oversight of over 5 socioeconomic programs here at Metro, which she'll tell you a little bit more about. So I want to take this opportunity to thank her and her team for setting this up. And I hope that everybody here will get as much information as they need. And I hope you have a lovely session. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Fifi. We always love when you can come and share your joy with us. Thank you so very much. Good morning, everyone, and thank you again for participating today in WMATA Small Business Programs Outreach. We're in collaboration with the DC Small Business Development Center Network at Howard University. Today, we're going to bring you Controlling the Information Narrative About Your Business by Mr. Henry Mangum. He's the founder and CEO of HANSA. I hope I'm saying that right. We are so happy about this collaboration because the DC Business Development Center Network, oh my gosh, it adds so much support and value to the success of small businesses. As you know, here at WMATA, certification is the key to participation. So we encourage all those that are not certified, small businesses, to please get certified with WMATA. We do have 5 socioeconomic programs that you can be certified in. We have the Disadvantaged and Small Business Enterprise programs, which are our federal programs. And if you don't know, we have our new non-federal programs. So we have minority business, small business, and micro business programs now. So please go check out our website and learn more about our programs and becoming certified with us for our business opportunities. Always remember, we are definitely open for business, and we want you to be a part of our contracting opportunities. We are your Metro, the way forward. Please remember to put all questions in the chat, and remember to fill out your surveys that will be sent to you after the outreach event. See, these surveys help us to plan events that can benefit or support your business. So again, thank you for attending and enjoying your session. At this time, I want to bring on a good friend of mine, Mr. Charles Mott. Charles is the Associate Director at the DC Small Business Development Center at Howard University here in DC. In this capacity, he works directly with the Executive Director in planning, implementing, managing, evaluating, and reviewing or reporting for DC Small Business Development Center activities. This goes throughout the DC network to the U.S. Small Business Administration. He also counsels numerous DC SBDC small business clients, providing technical assistance, training, also assistance with accessing capital and business research. He has counseled thousands of small businesses through the DC SBDC. So let's welcome Charles, and I thank you, my friend, for today.
Michelle, as always, thank you so much for that great introduction. When I hear all the things that I've done, I'm like, wow, it just makes me tired just hearing all that great stuff. But as Michelle said, we've known each other for a very long time, and she's doing some great things at Metro with her team. And we enjoy this collaboration, especially where we can impart great information to small business. And the presenter you're about to see today will be providing you some great information. Wanted to start out, before I actually read his introduction, brief introduction, or brief bio, I wanted to just say how we met originally. Henry and I met at an event, a networking event, and then we met that time, and Henry provided some collateral about what his business does and everything, and I was intrigued. And then the second time we met was shortly thereafter at another event, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm going to have this gentleman on to talk to our clients about his offering. And I'm not going to kill his thunder, but he has a great offering that is free of charge to small business. But with that, I'm going to read his official bio for this webinar. Henry is the founder and CEO of Hansa, a digital business assistant that helps small business owners get access to financial products and services they need to thrive. Prior to founding Hansa, Henry was an investor at New Enterprise Associates, a global venture capital firm, where he spent years investing in startup small businesses. So he knows small business. Henry holds a degree in mechanical engineering from Stanford University. He's at a rival school of ours. I went to Cal Poly, so it's a rival engineering school. But without further ado, I'm going to let Henry take it over. And I just want to say, great to be working with you again, Henry. And our participants today are in for a great treat.
Well, thank you, Charles. I really appreciate that, and thank you everyone for having me. I'm looking forward to chatting with you today. Before I start out, I'll mention that if you have any questions along the way, please don't hesitate to put them in the chat. I'll do my best to follow along as we go, and if I miss one, we'll make sure towards the end to address it. But as I mentioned, really excited and appreciate you having me here today. I'm just going to go ahead and share my screen. There we go. And I'll get started. So controlling the information narrative about your business. As mentioned, I'm Henry McGunn. I am the founder and CEO of Hansa. And I'll tell you a little bit more about what Hansa does a bit later in the presentation. But to start out, what is business information? The title of my chat, right? Controlling the information narrative about your business. So what is small business information? Now, most everyone here is likely aware of the visible presence that small businesses have online. Maybe that's a website for a business. Maybe that's a listing on Google Maps or maybe on Yelp. But what you may not be aware of is that there is a lot of data online about small businesses that we as individuals can't see. We at Hansa like to call this invisible small business data or small business information. And while it doesn't show up in a Google search, it is out there. And it is being used to find out information about your businesses all the time. What it includes varies from business to business, but very frequently, this invisible data about a business can include things like the business's registered address, or the names of its owners, or what year the business was founded, maybe an estimation for its revenue, or an estimation for the number of customers that the business might have per day. This list goes on and on and on, and there are dozens of different aspects of a business that there are companies out there online selling their estimates for what that might be for any given business. And so we understand what it is, right? This invisible small business information, but where does it live? The answer ultimately is that it is stored online by data companies who large enterprises can pay to access it. So, this large enterprises, maybe it's a bank, maybe it's a credit card company, right? They are finding your business by searching through these data sets that are being sold to them. And whether they're looking for your business specifically, maybe they're trying to, decide whether or not to give you a loan, or maybe they're just searching for potential leads for new companies to target. So maybe they are a credit card company and they are looking up your business and determining whether or not to approve you for a business credit card. Or they might be looking for businesses in the DC area. Maybe I started a new credit card company and I want it to be perfect for businesses in the DC area that have between 15 and 30 employees and do between $2 and $10 million in revenue a year. Right? There are a lot of different criteria that they can use to try to identify businesses that they can go after and try to sell their financial products to, like a loan or like a credit card or things like that. And while these large enterprises already know how to find and access this data, for individual business owners like us, it's very, very difficult to access it. It's really hard to find. It usually costs money to access, and it's typically simply off limits to us as individuals, even though it's about our own businesses. So if I ultimately want to go and see, hey, this company is selling data about my business. They're selling my revenue, and they're selling my number of customers a day and things like that. I actually can't even access the data that they're selling about me to decide whether it's right or wrong. And for the spaces that I can access, it requires a really high level of technical expertise to do so. And so, ultimately, the system is designed to lock out us as business owners and make it very difficult for us to see what is being said about our businesses. Now, one thing that's great about this in this context of getting your business certifications, right? For many of you, some of this data is actually available in your record in some of the certification program directories, like the DC UCP directory. And this is fantastic because having your information in these directories benefits you, not only to show that you are certified and that you have been, someone has looked through all your documentation, your paperwork, and said, yes, this is a legitimate business, this is certified, not just for the purpose of being eligible for certain contracts. It also serves you because it becomes a place that you are able to see that information. You can control it because you can send updates to your certification, and you can track it over time. And so that's great because maybe a lender or a bank or an insurance company in the future might be making a decision about your business. Having this record in one of these directories can really actually help you show that your business is legitimate. It was verified by a third party. In this instance, it's the certification organization, and that it's trustworthy. So a small plug to go get your certifications, because that can only help in kind of helping to manage the data that exists about your businesses online and that is being used to find you. But I'm going to back up just a little bit. So now that we know on the web where this data is, right? I said it lives with these companies that are selling data. They have very large lists of data about your business, the business next door to you, and almost every business in America. But it begs the question, where did the data come from? If they're selling it about me and it exists in their systems, how did they get it? Where did it actually come from? And the answer ultimately is that these companies are very actively collecting this data about small businesses without the business owner's knowledge, without participation from the business owners, without consent from the business owners. And they do this by accessing public records. So, maybe they access your filing with your local Secretary of State when you first created your LLC. They might be copying it from websites, whether it be your website, if you have a website for your business, or if you have a Yelp page for your business, or a LinkedIn page for your business, maybe. They might be buying it from other data companies that sell data. That's very common, and I'll get to that a little bit later in my talk. And some examples of this can include collecting a business's address from the original registration with the Secretary of State when you created your LLC. The problem with that is your business might have moved. You might have used your apartment address when you created your LLC, but you've since moved to a new apartment, and all of a sudden the address that is out there that businesses are using to find you actually might be out of date. You might be receiving mail to your address from the business that was there before you, and that's because they're still using that business's original filing with their Secretary of State. And so a lot of assumptions and guessing end up going into the development of these data sets and these profiles about businesses. And I'll get to kind of the issues of what happens when they're out of date and stale. But some of it is being scraped, collected from websites, collected from Secretary of State filing. A lot of it is also guessed. So guessing a business's revenue is very, very common. And that might be a company purchases some information from a credit card processing company. And they're using that to say, we can see 5% of all consumers in America credit card data because we purchased it from this credit card processing company. And based on that, we're going to make an assumption about how much revenue Tom's Diner is doing. And the problem with that is that estimation is frequently highly incorrect and can really hurt you as a business owner when you're trying to get access to financial products. And I'll get into that a little bit deeper. Probably the most important question, why should I care? Why should I care about this small business information that exists about my business, but that I can't see? I can't see this data. Why does it matter? The truth is that even though we can't see it, we can't go on Google and search for our business and see this information. It's hidden, it's locked out from us, as I mentioned before. Even though we can't see it, it is used to make decisions about small businesses every day. These decisions will very frequently involve small business financial services like bank accounts, loans, credit cards, insurance. And that means that if this data is wrong, it can hurt a small business owner's ability to get access to those financial products for their business that they need to thrive, like a small business loan, like a small business credit card, like small business insurance. And unfortunately, the bad news is that it's very frequently wrong. How does it affect me? I understand that what it is, where it comes from, but now how is it actually affecting my access to these financial products that I just mentioned? The thing to highlight here is that it might actually even be before you ever apply for a loan. So I'm going to use the example of a small business loan here, but this applies for insurance and for credit cards and for even bank accounts and other services like that. But I'll use the example of a loan. Lenders make decisions every day about who to invite to apply to products. Maybe they have a loan that they want to specifically offer to companies that are in the food services industry because they think that it's the perfect product for food service small businesses. They have to go and they have to find those small businesses to say to them, hey, you should come apply for this loan. I designed it specifically for businesses like you. It's perfect for you. Now, they make those decisions on who to target and they make the decisions on how they're going to find the small businesses to market that new loan to. They're using this invisible small business information to identify those businesses. And they're getting that information from, as I have said, these data companies. And so, the actual factors that are used to make that decision of, should I go reach out to this small business and tell them that they're a great fit for a loan? Should I go reach out to this other small business and tell them that they're a great fit for the loan and they should come apply? The factors that go into them making those decisions vary highly, but uniformly, if the information that they're accessing, that they're purchasing to make those decisions is out of date or is incorrect, it can significantly impact whether or not they are able to actually find the businesses that are right for that product that they are offering. In this instance that I've been using as an example, it's a small business loan. And ultimately, if they can't find you, if they can't find your small business that might be a perfect candidate for that product, then they default to marketing that product to everyone. And the consequence of that is that it results in a lot of wasted time and money for us as small business owners, because we end up getting offers for dozens of different products, different loans, different credit cards, different insurance. And the onus is put on us to sift through the noise and to put in the time to say, should I apply to this one? Should I apply to that one? I actually don't know which is right for me because everyone's telling me that all of them are right for me because they don't know anything about my business. And so, this wasted time can be really, really burdensome to us as business owners. And it's expected of us to figure out, are we a right fit for this product or that product? Because the information that, these financial providers used to find me wasn't up to date enough, wasn't detailed enough, might have just simply been inaccurate. And so they can't customize their offers to me in any way. My guess is that many of you have probably received letters in the mail or phone calls or emails offering you business loans and business credit cards and business insurance. And maybe you even went and applied for some of those products, and maybe you were approved, which would be wonderful, but maybe you weren't approved. And maybe you went through the time and effort to put together that application, only to find out that you actually were never the right candidate for it, but they didn't have enough information to decide whether or not you were before expecting you to put through all the extra work to go and apply. This wastes your time. It can increase the rates that you pay on those products, because obviously if these providers like a bank or like an insurance company or like a credit card company, if they have to go out and they have to market their product to everyone rather than being able to specifically target the right fits, it's going to cost them a lot more to go and market their products to everyone. And that cost is passed on to us as the small business owners. So we get higher rates because it was harder for them to find the right candidates to have applied to that loan. And so we're compensating basically for the cost it took them to find us. As I said, accessing this data that exists about us, very, very hard, sometimes impossible. Fixing it, even harder. You might have experienced this for yourself. Many other small business owners have. As I mentioned, right, you get a call for a product, and maybe you get a call and they say, hey, we have in our data set that you have 12 employees and that you were founded 2 years ago, but actually you have 30 employees and you were founded 8 years ago. This data that they have about you, much of it is just estimated. And ultimately, kind of the key takeaway here is that these data companies really don't provide a lot of ways for us to view it and correct it. And it's made really, really difficult for us to manage. And these are just a couple reviews of some of the data companies that if you go online and you search up these data companies on Google and you start to see some reviews from business owners, these business owners are highlighting the fact that, hey, like this information exists about my business, but it's all wrong. This company has information on a website affiliated with them. Information is entirely incorrect. Trying to contact them and rectify and delete the misinformation. This company gets your information from quote unquote outside resources and then sells it to others who list it on their website. Somehow they were selling my personal address and my personal cell phone number instead of my business information. After calling them and they said they'd submit my information to be removed, and they kept sending it to other people. Right. So it's really highlighting the fact that there's a lot of this data out there. It's being sold about us, but we're locked out from seeing it, from managing it, from correcting it, and from deleting it if it's incorrect. Now a bit of a deep dive. I feel very strongly, in order to learn how to navigate this ecosystem, it's really important that we as small business owners understand how it works. Why is it this way? Who are the different stakeholders that are making these decisions and that are creating and managing this data in terms of how it affects us? Excuse me. So starting off, is this the same thing as my business credit history? And ultimately, the answer is both yes and no. The term business credit and business credit history is pretty vague and variable when it comes to the small business space. On the surface, it can feel very comfortable and right to draw a parallel between our lives as consumers and our lives as small business owners. So on the consumer side, many of you might have heard of Experian, Equifax, TransUnion, right? These are the consumer credit bureaus that all have scores about folks here in the US who have credit profiles, and they bundle them together. FICO comes in and they create your FICO score, and that's used by banks and credit card companies and whatnot to make decisions about you as a consumer. and decide whether or not you are, a borrower that they want to lend to. But this parallel breaks down a little bit when we understand a little bit more about how the small business space works. As I mentioned, right, it feels comfortable to draw, parallel between your EIN as a business and your social security number as a consumer, or your incorporation date as a business and your birthday as a consumer, and other things like that. But in reality, small business credit is very, very complicated. It's hard to view, it's unstandardized, and ultimately it's just really not optimized for the small business owners that it should be serving. It's created so that we can try to get access to financial products, but the system is not designed for us to succeed. And the main reason for this is that the reporting ecosystem around small business data is unstandardized and inconsistent. As I mentioned, in the consumer credit score space, the three bureaus, which are Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion, they all have standardized scoring methodologies, and they are reported to by the vast majority of financial institutions that you as a consumer will interact with, whether that be you take out a loan from a bank, or you have a credit card. You might have a car loan or a mortgage on your apartment or your home. And we can see on the left side that all of the banks, the credit card companies, and the lenders that Amanda is a customer of. Amanda is our the consumer that we make up as an example here. All of the financial institutions that she uses, lender, bank, credit card. All of them are sending her information to Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. And as a component of that, Amanda can feel very confident that her actions that she takes as a borrower are being applied to her credit history and are correctly being attached to her personal information and no one else's. On the other side, though, in the small business world, and on the right, we have Tom, who is our make-believe small business owner. In this world, not all of the companies that you might use for a small business loan or a small business credit card or small business insurance, not all of them will actually report your information to the business credit bureaus. The largest of which in the business space are Equifax and Experian. So they do both consumer on the left side and business on the right side. And then a third, which is a company called Dun & Bradstreet. You, as business owners, you might have interacted with some of these companies. Many of you might have DUNS numbers, which is Dun & Bradstreet's identification system, similar to an EIN or a social security number for consumers. It's the unique ID that Dun & Bradstreet creates for your business to identify, this is me, this is my business, this is what people should see when they look me up. But unlike on the left side, you can see on the right side, not all of Tom's providers are reporting to the three small business credit bureaus. Some of them are not reporting to any. And that means that even if you take out a small business loan or a small business credit card, maybe you're a perfect borrower and you pay off on time every month. You might still be building no credit history for your business because it might be going nowhere. You might be paying this credit card company to pay off your loan or your credit card profile each month, but they're not sending the information. They're not sending the fact that you paid off on time to anyone. And so ultimately, you're not building any history. So Tom might have a small business credit card that he's been paying off on time for 20 years, and he might not have built any business credit history for it. So if he goes and applies for a new loan for his business or a new credit card for his business, the fact that he was a perfect borrower and paid off on time every month for 20 years doesn't give him any credit for that new application. And so they don't know that, and he doesn't get a better rate or a higher loan or whatever it is. It's because he kind of built up that history, which doesn't exist. Zooming in a little bit, we can see that on top of the fact that there's very little consistency to where or even if financial providers are reporting small business payment information to the bureaus. On top of that, there's also a lot of inconsistency in the actual information that they share if they do choose to report. So you can see that the lender on the left is reporting Tom's business, his on-time payment, and they're identifying Tom's business by his EIN. Many of you probably have EINs for your businesses, but the credit card company on the right is reporting Tom's credit line of his business and identifying his business by its name and not by its EIN. And so, additionally, if they're not even reporting to the same places and they're not reporting based on the same information, if someone, maybe I'm a loan officer at a bank, or maybe I'm a credit card underwriter making a decision on whether or not to approve you for a credit card, I'm looking to find information about Tom's business. And, I might not be able to reconcile, hey, this record in this data set, it says it's Tom's business, but this record in this other data set also says it might be Tom's business. But this one says that the incorporation address is, XYZ, and that might be Tom's home address. And this one might say the actual address of his business, and I can't rectify the two. And so ultimately, either I spend a lot of time trying to do so, or I just kind of throw my hands in the air and I say, this is too complicated. I don't know who you are. There are too many records for you. I'm just going to back off. Or maybe it's, I feel like I'm taking on higher risk because I can't rectify this information. So I'm just going to give you a higher rate on your loan or on your credit card or whatnot, to basically accommodate what I feel as the increased risk that I'm taking. To make matters even worse, mistakes are made all the time. And because reporting is not standardized, it's very difficult to catch and correct these errors. The slide I have here, this is a made up error, but I think it's a good example to use. So, maybe both of these providers are reporting Tom's payment information using the name of his business, but the one on the left has an apostrophe in Tom's Diner, and the one on the right does not. All of a sudden, we have two different names for Tom businesses, and we have two different records because they don't have exactly the same name. And I might be looking to find out information about him to make a decision, but all of a sudden I have these two records, and it's similar to the example I gave before of, I actually don't know which is which, so I'm going to throw my hands in the air and just say, hey, this is too complicated for me. And ultimately what ends up happening is that, identity for a small business can cease to exist because you ultimately having, multiple conflicting records that are extremely difficult to consolidate. I show an example here, right? Maybe all this information on the left is coming from all these different sources. It could include your doing business as name, or your address, or the legal name of your business, or the owner's name, or the phone number, or EIN, right? There's all these different data points. Maybe they're all combined. They're all, a data company ingests them all, but it can't rectify the fact that some of the information is conflicting. Some of it, one has a mistake and this one doesn't, and I don't know if they're the same business or different ones. So I'm going to create two records, right? And these are two different businesses now, even though in reality they're the same business. And this can magnify to the fact that because these data companies are all buying and selling from each other, you can have company on the top, the data provider on the top has two records for me. The data provider on the bottom has two records for me. They both sell to a new data provider. They're selling data about me, but now there are 3 records or 4 records or 5 records. And this problem can magnify over time. And it simply hurts us as small business owners because it makes it very difficult for us to say, hi, this is me. This is the correct information about me. This is how you should find me if you have a product that I'm right for. Because right now, I don't know if the information you're using to target me is right or wrong. So it wastes time for me because I have to go and apply for things blindly without knowing if I'll be approved. And it also means that I might not learn about the products that I'm a great fit for, right? There might be a fantastic small business loan out there that my business is a perfect candidate for. But because they don't know accurate information about me, they can't find me and tell me that, hey, this product is perfect for you. Why does it work this way? Ultimately, the reason for this is that in the consumer world, the government mandates that we as consumers have free access to see our credit scores with all 3 consumer credit bureaus. It legally guarantees us the right to verify the accuracy of the data in those reports and to be told why we were rejected for a product. If we get rejected for a loan or credit card, we have to be told why. We have a legally protected path to dispute incomplete information, inaccurate information, and remove negative, outdated information. In the small business space on the right, there are similarly credit scores from these companies, from Experian, from Equifax, from Dun & Bradstreet, but the laws that exist to protect consumers don't exist to protect small businesses. So we as small business owners are not guaranteed a legal right to view our business credit reports for free. We don't have the right to see the information that goes into generating our reports and our scores. It's really difficult and sometimes impossible for us to view, verify, or dispute inaccurate information. And as I mentioned, there's a lot of mistakes very frequently, and so we're really limited in preventing these mistakes from affecting us in the future. And these lack of protections have kind of created this environment where there's tons and tons of data. A lot of it is out of date. A lot of it is incorrect. We can't access it because there's no laws that protect our rights to access it about our own businesses, and there are no laws that empower us to be able to participate in any more of an active way to make sure the data that is used to find us is up to date. What makes life even harder is that if you do find a mistake, it's almost impossible to track down the original source of it and have it expunged from your business's record across all these different data companies. As I mentioned before, they are buying and selling data amongst each other all the time. And so if you pay one data company because you want to see your data with them, you see that there's something incorrect. Maybe you pay them money to create an account so that you can correct it. Even if you remove the error in one place, it might pop up in another place, because before you removed the error in one place, it was sold with a record of your business was sold to this other place, and they just added it to their data set. So now your record's popped up somewhere else, and then they sell it and it pops up somewhere else. So this kind of never-ending web of movement of data and records about your business make it very, very difficult, almost impossible for you to track it down, to participate in any active way. And it really all goes into saying that the system is just set up in a way such that the data companies have almost no incentive to do a better job and to give you some power in the relationship to drive the car and have a little bit more active ownership and monitoring of your own data. It's really locked out. They're not incentivized to allow us to do that. And ultimately, it hurts us because it just means that there's likely out of date or incorrect data about our businesses that's being used to find us or to try to find us, and then ultimately not find us because they had the wrong address or they had the wrong phone number, this and that. Does this hidden data actually exist about my business, right? Is there really data out there about my business? Overwhelmingly, the answer is yes. This data exists for pretty much every business in America. The breadth and the accuracy of this data varies from business to business. But if you've been in business for more than a year, it's almost a guarantee that somebody is selling data about your business. And there's a high likelihood that at least some of it is wrong. And that means that these companies are selling information about your business. They're not telling you about it. They're not giving you access to it. And it's potentially negatively affecting you along the way, because any incorrect or out of date data about there can affect your ability to get approved in a timely manner for things like loans and credit cards. And to show you that, is there really data about your business online? Yes. Is there a likelihood that some of it is inaccurate? Yes. It actually happened to us. So, we're a DC-based company. We have a registering agent. Many of you might have registering agents that kind of go through and they do some of your filings for you on behalf of you, or maybe your lawyer does it, or maybe your accountant does it. Our registering agent, when they registered us with the DC government, they made a mistake. So our registering agent misspelled my last name. My name is Henry McGunn. Last name is spelled M-A-G-U-N. Our registering agent, when they registered us with DC, they spelled my last name Magnon. And that mistake that they made when they were creating our account with the DC government for our beneficial ownership reporting, that mistake showed up in other places. because it was picked up by the data companies who went into the system. They saw my information. They saw that my last name is spelled Magnon, and they caught it and they put it in other places. And so just a small example of this happens all the time. And frequently it's a small mistake. Our registering agent just made a small mistake and they just, typed an extra N into my last name. But that's how these things start. And then they can spiral down the line. And then if I'm going and maybe I'm applying for a loan or a credit card for my business, and the loan officer, whether it's a human or whether it's an automated underwriting program, they look and they see that on my driver's license, it says my last name is Magun, but in this record that they pulled about me, it says Magnun. All of a sudden, those are different, and it raises a lot of red flags, and it can delay my approval. It can potentially even lead to, rejection, or it can just increase rates because, as I said before, right, if they feel like they're taking on increased risk because they don't know what my last name is, if I'm the same person, things like that, then they'll just increase my rates and say, hey, you have to pay more because we're feeling like we're taking on a little bit more risk. Why should I care? I've kind of touched upon this throughout my talk, but ultimately the answer is that, if there is incorrect information out there, incorrect data, it is making its way into my applications for small business loans and credit card and insurance and even bank accounts. And it can cause delays in me being approved, worse rates, higher prices, time wasted for me applying for things that simply aren't a good fit. It can reduce my borrowing limits. It can mean that I have to take on significantly more of a guarantee on my personal credit score. And kind of the list goes on in the way that it can negatively affect us. So it really does hurt us to have incorrect data out there. And the only way to mitigate that is for us to be able to have more control, have a heavier hand in what information exists about there, and be able to say, hi, this is me. Here's my information about my business. I am the one monitoring and keeping this information up to date. So you should use this information to find me. You should use this information to make a decision on whether or not you're going to, send me a mail or give me a call about, this loan or that loan or things like that. And so what can I do today to help my business to work on this for the future? Ultimately, I have a list of things that I'll start with. I obviously have to start with sign up for Hansa, the company I founded. So at Hansa, we were founded to help small business owners get access to the financial products that they need to thrive with their business. And so, that can mean a lot of different things. And so at Hansa, we help businesses by enabling you to get pre-qualified for things like loans and credit cards and other products, because we're a place where you can share that information proactively about your business. If you'd like us to share that with financial institutions, we will do so on behalf of you so that the financial institutions know that the information they're using to say, hey, you should apply or you shouldn't apply, they know that it's up to date and accurate because it was supplied by you. We have intelligent health scores that you can show us information about your business, and we'll help you understand how would a lender make a decision about you? What are the different factors they might look at? What is the kind of amalgamation as they put together all this information about your business? What are they going to be thinking through? So we've created the scoring system to help you try to understand that a little more. Hands-on advice from our team of business information experts who are really focused on helping you as business owners solve this problem. We have tools to help you get through applications. A business plan generator is our most popular. If you need to write a business plan for say an SBA loan, or you want to write a loan request letter that you're going to submit with an application to your local bank, things like that. We have a tool that helps you write that in less than 10 minutes. And then beyond that, we are building out our relationships with other parties in the kind of data ecosystem. So partnering with Equifax so that natively within our product, you can access your Equifax information about your business. We are helping you report loans to the existing credit bureau. So if you have a loan that you've taken out from a small business lender for your business and you're paying it off on time, but that lender happens to not report your information to those bureaus, as I kind of highlighted in that slide before, where you had the 3 bureaus at the bottom, and this credit card company was reporting here, this bank was reporting here, some of them were reporting nowhere. There are a lot of lenders who lend to small businesses in the States that don't report anywhere. And so we are helping business owners have those loans reported so that they can build credit history, even if their lender is not doing the reporting for them. And then a number of other products that help you manage your data, such as, beneficial ownership information reporting. This is a new law that started as of January 1st of this year. All businesses, except for some very specific exclusions, the vast majority of businesses in the U.S. are going to be required to report their what's called beneficial ownership information with FinCEN, which is the federal government's financial crimes unit. And so, we will help you manage that. And so these are products that are coming soon. 2, make a business website and make sure that it includes what your business does, your contact information, your business's address, if you have one, your business's phone number, bonus points if it's a toll-free number. This is the type of thing that can help banks and lenders and credit card companies and insurance companies. It helps them better understand that your business is real, legitimate, trustworthy. They will literally go and look up your business, look up your website, even look up your business on Google Maps to try to see, hey, is this business real? How long have they been around? Maybe are there reviews about this business from consumers that say, yes, this business is real, this business is great, blah, blah, blah. And so, really kind of helping build up your profile online. And so a website can help a lot with that. Check your business information with the other providers. So as I mentioned, very soon within Hansa, you'll be able to access your Equifax credit information. We're continuously building that out. It's very likely in the near future beyond that, we'll partner with Experian. Very likely, there are others that we're working with today that you'll be able to access this information all in one place. But today, Experian does allow you to purchase your own credit report. Unfortunately, you have to pay for it. And you can submit requests for items to be expunged from your record or information to be corrected. Dun & Bradstreet allows you to access your information and update it. DataAxle is a third party. They allow you to correct and make updates specifically to your listings. Nav.com is a marketplace for loans and credit cards for your businesses. They also have a product that they allow you to track your Experian and your Equifax business data. So, it's a great place to go for kind of have that all in one place. 4, ensure the data about your business across your government registrations and bureaus is consistent. For example, your registration to be a certified business to be able to do contracts with the state or with the federal government. Making sure that your business is up to date in those records is really important, because incongruency between those records and your website and your LLC filing and things like that can be what creates confusion and can be the reason that there are multiple different records for your business. So consistency is the key here. That's the number one thing that's most important, is making sure that there is consistency of the records that exist about your business from A to B to C places. Number 5, if you don't have one, open a business bank account. This is really, really helpful in demonstrating to the world that my business is legitimate. Demonstrating to a lender or a bank or a credit card company or many other providers, an insurance company, demonstrating that you have a business bank account that is connected to your EIN helps build the fact that you're a trustworthy, a legitimate business, and that they should take that into consideration when they're making decisions about you. Lastly, get a business credit card, specifically one that reports to the business bureaus. So if you are considering getting a business credit card for your business, it's likely, depending on how long your business has been around, that to start out, you'll probably require some sort of a personal guarantee. Not all of them require that, but the vast majority do. But you can ask ahead of time, hey, are you going to report my on-time credit card payments to Experian, Equifax, and Dun & Bradstreet? Find a credit card that does that. and you can ask them ahead of time, and it changes all the time. So this is just a component of reaching out to whatever credit card you're considering getting. And I can follow up for folks if they want to send me an email and request. I have lists of the credit card the specific products that do that I'm happy to provide. But picking one that reports helps you from day one to start building business credit history for your business that's connected to your EIN, and that can help you in the future maybe get a credit card that's not personally guaranteed by your personal credit, or maybe get a larger credit line or a loan for your business, something like that. So, these are some of the top things that can help you, that you can do very quickly today, that will help your business really kind of optimize for getting access to the financial products that you need. And that's what I have for you today. This is my personal email address, henry@withhanza.com. I would love to hear from any of you if you have specific questions, or you want to get some specific advice tailored to your business, and I'm happy to chat through that. Please don't hesitate to reach out to me. I started this business to help small business owners, and that's why I love giving talks like this. I love interacting with anyone who is looking for some advice or some help, because that's really why we exist. And so please don't hesitate at all to reach out. My personal email again, the QR code here is a link to sign up for Hanza. As I said, and I had in the 2 slides prior, that there are a lot of products that we're going to be launching in the next few months. So not all of them are available today, but they'll be going live very soon. And so I encourage you to come sign up, use what we have today, and make sure that you're kind of up to date over time, and we'll update you as new products are released in our program. So yeah, that's what I have for today.
Henry, you have 2 questions in the chat so far. If a business was registered, for example, DUNS EIN number during COVID, but never engaged in business activities, do they need to unregister or just re-register to become active? They keep receiving credit card offers.
Fantastic question. Typically, if you were registered, even if you were not conducting business in that time, your registration still exists. And if you are going to re-engage in business activities for that same business with the same LLC, or if it's an LLC or a corporation, whatever it might be, your registration still exists. You might need to go and update it if there have been changes. Maybe it's your address, or maybe the phone number or the website or whatever it is for the business has changed. But the registration still exists in the vast majority of cases. If you want to stop receiving credit card offers, like in the mail or email or phone, that's a little bit harder. And kind of for the reason that I mentioned the talk, which is once that information's out there, it's really hard to claw it back and kind of turn it off. So that's a little bit of a harder thing to answer. If you were to change anything about your registration, eventually those changes would make their way across the ecosystem, and you might start to receive offers. Let's say the address changed, you might start to receive them at the new address or things like that. But if the goal is to stop receiving offers, unfortunately that's very, very difficult. But if the question is, I want to re-engage in business activities, do I still exist in these systems? The answer is, in the vast majority of cases, yes, I still exist.
Thank you. Next question. How does all of this apply to a startup business and getting funds to get started?
It's a fantastic question, and I get this one all the time. And ultimately, there are a number of different things that a startup business can do to try to get capital. It is unsurprisingly very situationally dependent. An example being, I need to buy a specific piece of equipment, or I need to buy a vehicle for my business, or things like that. So very specific purchases like that can be financed by very specific products, like a specific small business vehicle loan or equipment loan, things like that. So if it's a type of product like that, the place to start is with those equipment or vehicle financing companies that help startup businesses. If you are looking more for generalized capital for kind of operating costs to get you up and running, that is a little bit more difficult to get as a startup business because you're not purchasing a specific asset that has value. So, when you go and you buy a car, right, the car itself becomes the collateral. So if you unfortunately default on that loan, right, the lenders get the car. When it's purely for operating capital, it's a little bit more difficult. And so the places that you can go to start there will very frequently require some sort of a personal guarantee. And so then you have to start to think about, okay, how is my personal credit? If I have great personal credit, it can make getting that first loan for my business or that first credit card for my business, it makes it a lot easier. I always encourage folks to focus on making sure that if they go and get that initial business credit card or that initial business loan, make sure that they pick one that reports to the business bureaus, as I said earlier, right? So reports to Experian, Equifax, and or Dun & Bradstreet, so that you are from day one starting to build up that credit history for your business and not just for your personal credit. So I would say it applies in that way that you want the earliest you can possibly start on building your business credit history, the better. And so just making sure that that first source of capital that you go after is reporting to those bureaus. And that is simply just asking, right? If it's a loan, just ask the lender, hey, do you report to the business bureaus? If they say no, send me an email. I can help direct you towards a loan that does. Asking a credit card company, hey, do you report to the business credit bureaus? If they don't get that credit card. Go to a credit card that does, so you can be building up that business credit history for your new startup business from day one, because that will help you for the entire life cycle of your business. 2 years from now, 50 years from now, right? Hopefully your business lasts for 50 years. But it helps you throughout that entire life cycle so that eventually you get to a point where you can take out a loan or you can take out a credit card that requires no personal guarantee. Eventually, that is possible. Many times people think, oh, that's not possible. I'm a small business. Nobody's ever going to give me a loan that doesn't require me to personally guarantee it. Actually, there are a lot of lenders that will, but you have to have spent some time building up your credit history for your business. So that's my advice for if you're a startup business. Start from day one, just making sure that all the capital that you go after from providers is going to help you build that credit history. And it looks like if for that specific question, as I mentioned with the last question, if there's specific advice that you're looking for about this situation or that situation that might require a little bit more one-on-one, please don't hesitate. As I said, send me an email. Happy to jump on the phone, discuss that, your unique situation, and see if there is some way that we can help you out.
Thank you, Henry. That was very informative. We'll be now turning it over back to our director, Michelle Howell.
Thank you, Marlo. Henry, let me tell you something. This was awesome. Okay. Now, I don't have my own business, but I was nervous. All of the things that you were talking about, it just made it sound, okay, there's a way, but it's very scary to navigate that. It's almost like who's me, who's my business, and does any of that match up? I'll tell you, Henry, I hope the audience knows we're going to have him back, because this here, oh my gosh. I have been in this realm for many, many years, and to have this broken down and explained in the way that you did it, some of the stuff out there, I didn't know that it existed and how they gather that data from all these other sources. Wow. Yeah, that was wow factor for me. Henry, I want to say thank you. Thank you.
No,
so
thank you
much for being our guest today and speaking on such an important topic. Oh my goodness. Hey, if you guys still have questions, put them in the chat. We will get them forwarded to Henry. Hey, but you got this QR code. You better sign up today. please, please, if you value the data and information out there on your business, please sign up today. Because I tell you, you don't want your business mistaken and is going someplace else and the right information is not out there on who you are versus who your business is and what you're actually doing. You know, your accounts, you know, financials, it affects so many different things. So, hey, you see that QR code, your guys better sign up and get this information taken care of because only you can help take care of your business the right way. Okay, again, I said I want to thank Charles. I want to thank Henry. I want to thank my small business programs team, Marlo, Michael, Shanae, Lily. I want to thank you guys for making this happen in the background for us. You know, I want to also thank our Chief Procurement Officer, Senior VP, Ms. Fifi, as we call her here at WMATA. And I hope that you were able to learn some important information to help your business grow today, because that's what this is about. Learning information, being educated on what can help your business grow, okay? We are looking forward to seeing you at this next outreach that we're having on Tuesday, April the 9th. So please make sure you sign up and register. Filing season is here. You want to get them taxes right. So we have someone from the IRS coming in. So please make sure you sign up. There is still time to get it together before you got to send it in. So make sure that you're signing up for this. Remember, please, certification is the key to participation, and we look forward to your certification applications being submitted here at WMATA. My team is ready to help you, and I want to thank you all again for participating. Have a great rest of your day, and I'm looking forward to hoping you guys sign in here. All right, so thank you so much for participating. The April 9th one, as you can see, we have an in-person Meet the Primes. April 30th, sign up. It's in person. You get to speak to the primes directly for contracting opportunities. All right, you guys, have a great one. Thanks, Henry.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Everyone, enjoy the rest of the day. Bye.
Good morning. That concludes our presentation. Thank you for attending. We look forward to seeing you on April 9th and April 30th. Have a great day.